We're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah. Once upon a time there was a lovely couple who went on a lovely adventure to Rhodes. The couple who were from the Bristol area. The next day they went out to a restaurant. They had some Greek salad before they would look around the church. The next day they would go to a museum. They would try some Greek food. They thought the following day there was a storm. It was a really bad storm. How would the lovely couple be able to handle this storm? It remained to be seen. How long the storm would last for. Sorry, how long the storm would last for, actually said. The next day they went to look round some shops and they saw some really nice clothes, which they really liked. Late that evening they settled down for the night. When they heard some shouting next door, it would start to get really tense. They didn't know what was going on. The couple, who were named Jezza Richards and Amelia Richards, they heard some arguing. It would be really concerning for the couple. They were really worried who were from the West London area, Chelsea. The next day they went out. When they were approached by a homeless person, they would try not to respond to the homeless person, but because they knew they wanted money off them. The next day they saw something really unusual. They went back to the apartment where they were staying. It looked like there was a broken pipe, so they contacted the person whose apartment they were staying while they were in Rhodes to get the pipes fixed. Later that evening, the person came round whose apartment it was, and they managed to fix the pipes. Well, the following day, they went into the shop. They would buy some food. They would eat the food. Then they would go to the beach, but it wouldn't go for all the right reasons. They were being watched by some teenagers. These teenagers were causing real problems in Rhodes. The teenagers who were aged 18, 19, 17 were being a nuisance. Who were from the Spanish area of Sevilla, who were on a holiday. They would have to be deported back to Sevilla because they were causing real problems for the Greek authorities. But the teenagers, they would refuse to leave. The teenagers were behaving really childish. These teenagers needed to be locked up. They were causing so much problems. The next day, the teenagers, they were asked to leave and to return back to Sevilla. The following day, the teenagers flew back to Sevilla. They would be arrested back in Sevilla by the Spanish authorities, who would go to court. They would find out how long they would be in prison for. However, these Spanish teenagers would try and get the decision overturned. They are really convinced they haven't done anything wrong because they believed they were not causing any problems in Rhodes. They said they were just on a holiday. The next day, the teenagers who would go to court, they would find out how long they would be sentenced in prison for. The next day, Jezza Richards and Amelia Richards spent their final week in Rhodes before they would fly back to Stansted. Then they would drive back to West London. Suddenly, when they were on their way back to Chelsea, there was a car that overtook them. This car was driving really dangerously. They were breaking the speed limit. Later that evening, they arrived back into West London. They went to the supermarket to buy some shopping. Suddenly, they had an expensive shop. Later that evening, they arrived back at home. When they arrived back at home, they realised something was wrong. They saw some broken glass. Suddenly, things started to be really serious. So Jezza Richards swept up the glass, and then when he went upstairs, he realised that he had been broken into when he and Amelia Richards were on holiday in Rhodes. So Jezza Richards phoned the police, and the police would start the search for whoever went in their house while the couple were on holiday to Rhodes for their honeymoon. The next day, the police found their suspects. They were from the Turkish area Istanbul. The next day, the police had their suspects, and they would go to court, and they would learn how long they would be in prison for. The next day, the court heard that this had been planned for a really long time. However, the suspects who this happened to were in court. They told the court that their neighbour had seen them go to the house. They were out of the country on holiday. The next day, the suspects who caused the offence, they would find out how long they would be in prison for. They would get deported back to Turkey and would spend the rest of their life in prison. The next day, the couple they would go out for lunch at McDonald's. They would have a cheeseburger, and then they would have a McFlurry for the dessert. Later that evening, they had pasta for tea with garlic bread. The following day, they went to work, and what would happen next would be nothing short of unbelievable. It would be crazy. Their employers collapsed, and suddenly it would start to get really concerning for all the work colleagues. However, in a dramatic turn of events, Jezza Richards managed to save the employer's life. this would be nothing short of remarkable. No one knew how this. No one knew how they did this. It was unbelievable how Jesse Richards was able to save Damien O'Nicholas's life. Jesse Richards from out of nowhere was able to save his life. The next day, Jesse Richards was given an award for saving his employee's life. It looked like he was going to pass away, but Jesse Richards managed to save it from out of nowhere. Later that evening, Jesse Richards and Amelia Richards, they went out clubbing in West London when there were some teenagers who approached them, but the security guards escorted the teenagers off their premises. The next day, the teenagers, they would be detained by the police, and they would be arrested for attempting to cause problems for the couple who went out clubbing in West London. The teenagers, they would be arrested for life for their part in what they were attempting to do to the couple. The next day, the couple would win £1 million for a holiday to Miami, and they would win some tickets to watch Chelsea at Stamford Bridge play against Manchester City. The end, Sam Jenkinson, we're done.
Very good.
Well done.
Well done.
We're done.